Hey guys, it's Owen from Wrestling Inc. back with another wrestling news roundup. Without any further ado, let's get into today's biggest stories in the world of professional wrestling. AEW Dynamite viewership draws best viewership in months, key demo rating also up from last week. Wednesday's live AEW Dynamite drew 1.129 million viewers on TBS according to Nielsen via Showbuzz Daily. This is up 18.34% from last week's episode, which drew 954,000 viewers. This week Dynamite drew a 0.41 rating in the key 18 to 49 demographic. This is up 17.14% from last week's 0.35 rating. Dynamite ranked number 1 on the cable top 150 this week with the 0.41 rating in that 18 to 49 key demographic. This is up from last week's number 3 ranking. Dynamite ranked 26 in viewership for the night on cable this week. This is up from last week's 37 ranking too. Wednesday's Dynamite drew the best audience for the show since September 29. The 18 to 49 key demo rating was tied with the January 26 Beach Break show for the third best key demo rating since the move to TBS. Wednesday's Dynamite viewership was up 18.34% from last week, while the key demographic rating was up 17.14% from the prior week too. This week's Dynamite viewership was up 52.36% from the same week in 2021. The key demo rating was up 41.37% from the previous year too. The 2021 episode went head-to-head with NXT and was the night President Trump's second impeachment trial began, so there was strong cable news competition. Tony Khan talks not renewing upcoming expiring AEW contracts. AEW President Tony Khan spoke with TV Insider about expiring contracts within the company. Several deals are believed to be coming up as AEW nears its 3-year anniversary. So far, Tony Khan has worked hard to keep people under a contract regardless of how often he used them. This is something he did because of the pandemic and the difficulty finding work. Quote, "When we started, a lot of people had contracts that were a couple of years long, and a lot of them are coming up. I have tried really hard to be very considerate of the people on the roster, especially going through the pandemic," Tony Khan added. That encompassed a long period of time, but we were still in our first year of television and going into our second. I kept a lot of people under contract even though I wasn't necessarily using them on television because I wanted them to still have paying work, which was hard to come by for wrestling during the pandemic where there weren't any independent shows. Really only 2 places were running and the other place was cutting people left and right. I did want to give some job security to the people. Tony Khan has admitted that now he cannot offer the same guarantees as before. He stated that with a lot of talent coming in, he can't renew all of the deals, so some tough choices are going to be made. The AEW president will be doing that based on their ability and the fan reaction. Quote, "Now with so many wrestlers coming in, I can't renew all the contracts. I've had to make some tough choices based on ability, fan response, or both. I try to maintain the best roster I can for the company and the fans." WWE schedule update on Bill Goldberg. It looks like WWE Hall of Famer Bill Goldberg has returned for a quick run that will end at Elimination Chamber. WWE has added Goldberg to Friday's SmackDown on Fox from the Smoothie King Center in New Orleans. This week's SmackDown will air live from New Orleans, but WWE will also tape next Friday's Elimination Chamber Go Home episode this Friday night due to the crew traveling to Saudi Arabia in time for next Saturday's big event. Besides this week's double SmackDown taping and the Elimination Chamber premium live event from Saudi Arabia, WWE does not have Goldberg advertised for any other events on the road to WrestleMania 38. Goldberg returned last week on SmackDown to set up the title match with WWE Universal Champion Roman Reigns at Elimination Chamber. He will be back this week and will possibly appear on next Friday's taped Go Home show, but that's it. There's no word on if WWE plans to use Goldberg for any other matches this year, but we will keep you updated. Tony Khan responds to criticism of Adam Cole's AEW booking. AEW President Tony Khan recently spoke with PW Insider about how people have been critical of Adam Cole's booking. He addressed the fact that the former NXT champion has been given the chance to headline a lot of different shows. Quote, "The Adam Cole that's here has main evented numerous Dynamites and Rampages, has been one of our biggest drawing wrestlers. The Adam Cole vs. Orange Cassidy program is one of the biggest drawing programs we've ever had in the history of AEW. They have done big numbers on every show they've been on," Tony Khan stated. and it's been a big part of our rating success in recent months, has been the matches they did with each other. Before Orange Cassidy and the Best Friends, Adam Cole wrestled a number of matches also against Jungle Boy. He beat Jungle Boy. Of course, Orange Cassidy and Jungle Boy both #1 contenders. He beat both of them, and he's beaten everybody he's wrestled in a sanctioned match, including a lot of main events. So wherever he's been before this, he's never been presented to as wide of an audience as consistently as a main event wrestler. Tyson Kidd WWE status update following recent absence. Tyson Kidd is reportedly still with WWE but is taking some time off. There has been speculation on Kidd's status after it was revealed he did not produce the Women's Royal Rumble match last month. It was noted then that Kidd usually works with the WWE Women's Division, but Fit Finlay, who has been working behind the scenes in WWE NXT for the past year, was brought to the Rumble because Kidd had not been producing matches for WWE for several weeks. It was also reported that the reason for Kidd's absence was actually tied to the Royal Rumble, but he was still employed by WWE as a producer and no other details were provided. In an update, the Wrestling Observer newsletter reports that there was word within WWE a few weeks back that Kidd was quitting the company, but that was chalked up to miscommunication. It was then said that Kidd would be back to work soon and he is on good terms with WWE. Kidd is reportedly taking some time off to heal his neck. He suffered a career-ending injury while taking a muscle buster from Samoa Joe during a Raw Dark match on June 1st, 2015. It's been said that Kidd is lucky to be alive and that it's a miracle he's not confined to a wheelchair, as he had an injury similar to what the late Christopher Reeve suffered. While he made significant progress over the years, he has also stated that he's at peace with never wrestling again. The Observer added that while Kidd is able to function well, that doesn't change the fact that his neck is in terrible shape and can flare up. It was reported earlier this month by Fightful's Sean Ross Sapp that there was talk of Kidd being frustrated with the company. One source reportedly stated that Kidd, quote, didn't show up and wasn't happy with how things were going and was, quote, no longer there. But other sources, including the company, insisted Kidd was still employed. Kidd was last listed as a WWE producer on the January 10 Raw and the January 14 SmackDown. It was also stated that Kidd's absence had nothing to do with wife Natalya losing to Aaliyah in 3 seconds on that same SmackDown. It was also said that there has been a lot of burnout among WWE producers in the last month or so, and that many of the producers have been overworked and exhausted but still don't complain about the workload. As noted back after the Rumble, word going around was that Kidd's absence was felt by the wrestlers who competed in the 30-woman Royal Rumble match, as the match was said to be a, quote, mess and full of chaos while morale was low. It was also reported that at least one women's wrestler passed on participating in the Rumble because they learned Kidd was not the producer. WWE MSG return matches revealed for Brock Lesnar and Ronda Rousey. Madison Square Garden has announced top matches for WWE's upcoming return to the world's most famous arena, including the bouts Brock Lesnar and Ronda Rousey will be working. WWE will return to MSG in New York City on Saturday, March 5th for a non-televised live event. Madison Square Garden has announced the following matches for the show: Brock Lesnar vs WWE Champion Bobby Lashley, Seth Rollins vs WWE Universal Champion Roman Reigns, Rhea Ripley vs Bianca Belair vs Raw Women's Champion Becky Lynch, Ronda Rousey and Sasha Banks vs Natalya and SmackDown Women's Champion Charlotte Flair. Other superstars advertised to appear are SmackDown Tag Team Champions The Usos, Randy Orton and Riddle, AJ Styles, Big E and Kofi Kingston, and more. WWE United States Champion Damian Priest and the Street Profits were previously advertised, but they are no longer on the listing. This will be Lesnar's first match at Madison Square Garden since the live event on Friday, March 16, 2018, which saw the Beast retain the WWE Universal Championship over Braun Strowman and WWE Hall of Famer Kane. He appeared at Madison Square Garden for the Super SmackDown episode in September of last year, but did not wrestle. This will be Rousey's third appearance at the world's most famous arena. She debuted with a victory over Nia Jax at the MSG live event on July 7, 2018, and then retained her Raw Women's Championship over Jax at the December 26, 2018 MSG live event. So what are your thoughts on the stories covered in today's Wrestling News Roundup? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Be sure to like and subscribe to Wrestling Inc. and I'll speak to you again very, very soon.